through a tip of the month of the holiday checklist. We know that getting ready for the holidays is stressful, and it's also a time when you want to make sure that you don't forget anything. So we have a handy tool that you can repurpose to check things off as you go. We're going to start with updating the playlist, making sure that you have a default playlist. That way, if for some reason your traffic or music logs do not export properly, you stay on the air through the holidays. Creating some holiday formats, and then double checking your holiday sensitive assets and hotkeys. So let's go ahead and jump right into the beginning of our demo here. For your default playlist, hopefully you can see that screen. Inside Wide Orbit Automation in Playlist Editor, when you pop into opening the playlist, you can right-click on a vintage log, and I apologize, my mouse slid a bit. Within this vintage log, you'll see this one specifically doesn't have traffic, or actually there are some spots. So let's go ahead and clear some of these older spots out. And probably don't want to liner into a liner, for example. So we can cast that out. And we would clean up this playlist a little bit to be able to have everything in place for a default playlist. So you just clean out some of those date sensitive, any content that's not evergreen. And then you can right click on this and tell it you would like it to save it as your default playlist. This way, if for whatever reason there isn't a current traffic log or music log, or even a schedule for the next day, you won't go off the air at midnight. You'll just always have some evergreen content to play. Should your system use this log, there will be notifications in the studio indicating that you're on the default playlist and that the action is necessary. So that's one simple step right before the holidays. You may want to make sure that you don't use any Christmas music or date sensitive content in that log, but just one more time, quick, simple, save it as the default playlist, and then say yes to the pop-ups. The next thing that we plan to talk about is creating holiday formats. So first, you're going to want to make sure you do your templates. So in my example here, I have an oldies Christmas special that we're going to play on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day on this radio station. So again, I'm sure you're very familiar with this. Otherwise, we can go through this more in the question and answer section of this webinar. So here's my handy little playlist. Obviously, I need to upload some content. And then we can go to the format, and you'll see I've created a Christmas, but let's do it together just to create a new one. So we're going to say 2024 Christmas, for example. And this is an hourly format. And if I had other programming, I could utilize, any of my actual shows in there. But let's say I want to just play this Christmas special at 6 p.m. each day. And so we just select that in there, and then I can actually schedule this. So if I want to, I can schedule it for, you can see that I already played with this a little bit with my Christmas sample, but I can schedule it for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. With holiday logs or holiday templates, you can schedule them as far in advance as you'd like. As you can see, I can schedule this for many years to come. What I have done as a programmer is have for example, a news talk format that doesn't have local content in it, so that it can be scheduled for Christmas, Thanksgiving, Memorial Day, Labor Day, all of the holidays when I knew my news team was going to be out, and I could do that once a year and have it ready to go. So now that we've set this to be on the schedule, there it is, it's good to go, and that is the template that will load for when Christmas and Christmas Eve are merged. The next thing on our holiday checklist is double checking asset end dates. So let's pop over to our Friend Audio Finder. I'm sure you're very familiar with this. Here in Audio Finder, maybe we have a Christmas category, or Again, Christmas is the universal example, but this also works for Valentine's Day, 4th of July, any holiday, any time when you have date sensitive content, you can go here and you can check your stop dates. You can also, if you've configured your columns correctly, you can ask the automation system to let you know last time play and next time play. And anything that's on a loaded schedule will be able to inform you if those are scheduled for, let's say, December 26th. So again, this is a great opportunity also where you can do mass edits if you need to. So you could actually go to the properties of this and you can say that you want to change the end date, for example, to be do not play after 12/25/2024. And if you wanted that to be a hourly restriction and what have you, you could do that. Again, I'm going to pop this back. This is our demo system, so I'm going to pop those back to Evergreen. And that way we can have them ready to go for next year. But that's a quick, easy way to go into that. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your hotkeys are going to honor your end dates. Now, hotkeys should honor end dates if you are on version 4 or higher. So let me show you how you can double check that. It is under your central server configurations. In your audio hardware, you're going to go to your logic channels, and then you're going to make sure that whatever you're using for your hotkeys is not in the preview type, for example. So it can be, you can be using it for your stack, you can be using it for, again, your naming nomenclature may be very different from our sample version, but as you decide which logic channel to use, make sure that you pick one that is output, not preview, and then your hotkeys will honor your end dates.